Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing well this afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Let's see, where are we going to start today?
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. It's going to be position 9. Mr. Ware. Come on, Mr. Ware.
Where you at there? I got one.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ware.
Good afternoon.
I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar.
Yes.
Okay, you ready, Mr. Ware?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Ware, you've been charged in case 23 CR 000029A with criminal trespass, simple battery, family violence, and simple battery. Let's see, do we have a pretrial on as of yet? Ms. Roberts, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
May I get a
24 cycles. He has a 2021 robbery conviction along with the possession of a firearm by convicted felon. A 2018 theft by shoplifting and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer conviction. 2019 felon marijuana conviction. 2019 entering auto and financial transaction card fraud conviction. 2019 willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and theft by shoplifting conviction. 3 FTAs, 2018, 2019, and 2021. And 3 probation violations, 2018, 2019, 2021. And nothing further.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Alette.
Your Honor, on January 24th, 2022, officers were dispatched to 1991 Delow Drive in Atlanta. Upon arrival, they spoke with Miss Maya Abrams, that's spelled M-I-Y-A, Abrams, A-B-R-A-M-S. And she stated that her child's father, who was the defendant, came to her apartment wanting to talk. She advised that the defendant pushed his way into the apartment and kept asking to talk. Ms. Abrams told the defendant on several occasions to leave, and he did refuse. At that time, Ms. Abrams, a Joquana Carmichael, and a Derica Allen were all eventually able to push the defendant out of the door of the apartment. But at that time, the defendant began punching Ms. Abrams and also Ms. Allen in the head with the closed fist multiple times. Ms. Allen is spelled, her first name is Derica, D-E-R-I-C-K-A, last name Allen, A-L-L-E-N. We do have concerns, Your Honor, about the defendant's 24 arrest cycles. Those originated in 2013. So over a span 9 or 10 years, he has accumulated 24 arrests.
Looks like Ms. Alette has gone out.
It appears.
Okay.
Judge, can you tell me what case that is? This is Deputy AHG Oto Echo. I can continue while for her and is stuck in the middle of a not the best photo for her. Which case is this?
Right. It's position number 9. Mr. Ware. I believe she was almost at the end of the presentation.
Harold Ware?
Yes.
Okay.
She had already given the facts and she was just about to give, I guess, go back through the history.
Okay. The bond recommendation, he's got several cycles of arrests. Did you go through his criminal 24 arrests since 2013? I heard what Miss Roberts said about his criminal history, but I do want to let Your Honor know that he does have he is on probation currently, 10 years of probation for a robbery, possession of a firearm by convicted felon. Currently, the state would be asking for $9,000 surety bond in total, $4,000 for each simple battery, and $1,000 for the criminal trespassing, no contact with the victims and witnesses, stay away from the incident location. 1 day anger awareness, and she has no ADW, but I don't know what those acronyms stand for. Hey, Miss Salette.
My apologies, Your
Oh.
Honor.
Oh, no, you're fine, Ms. Salette. Ms. Ekpo was able to pinch hit for you. And we're wondering what ADW stands for. Alcohol, drugs, weapons?
Correct. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Your Honor.
There we go.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Gant, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mr. Harold Ware is 24 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He does have family here, including a 2-year-old son that he shares with the complaining witness, Ms. Maya Abrams. He also has 2 additional children, ages 6 and 3 months. Mr. Ware completed the 9th grade. He is now working on his GED. He is at this time unemployed, therefore he does not have the means to pay much, if anything, toward bond. He strongly denies the allegations. In fact, he was unaware of the warrant, and I would ask that the court consider that he is presumed innocent against these allegations, which he denies. The date of the allegations, January 24th, 2022. A significant amount of time has passed. Therefore, I would ask that Mr. Ware be granted a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he's ineligible, then I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,500. That would be $500 for criminal trespass and $500 for the 2 simple batteries. We are unopposed to the no contact and the stay away orders. However, Mr. Ware would like to have third-party transfer so that he can continue seeing his child. And we are not asking for a one-time law enforcement escort, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, it's going to be $500 good bond for each charge, making for a total of a $1,500 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Abrams. Stay away from the Delow Drive address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and third-party transfer for child visitation. All right, so Mr. Ware, I'm not gonna keep you from your children, but given that you can't have any contact with Ms. Abrams, you're gonna have to get a third party to arrange visitation with your children, okay?
All right.
Okay, good luck to you, Mr. Ware.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 8, Swift. We also have his mother in the gallery.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Swift. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir, Judge. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Mr. Swift, you've been charged in case 23 CR 000034F with possession of a pistol or revolver by a person under 18 years of age and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history? Ms.
I'm
Roberts?
showing this being the first arrest, sorry.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Sauer.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place at 300 Peachtree Street Northwest in Atlanta. Officers responded regarding a burglary call. After making contact with the apartment owner, he stated that the defendant, who was a suspect, he and another person were leaving the building, and officers then walked out. They saw the defendant and the other person attempting to walk away from the scene. The defendant was detained and then he began to pull away. Officers actually had to wrestle him down to the ground in order to arrest him. And when he was searched, incident to arrest, there was a 9mm found on his person. Your Honor, this defendant is only 17 years old, so he is not to be in possession of a firearm. And due to this arrest, he does present a danger to the community. The state is recommending a $20,000 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location, A curfew of 7 p.m. to 6 a.m., no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and specifically no firearms, as he's not able to have those in his possession. Also, Your Honor, the state would be objecting to any testimony by the defendant's mother. She is not a witness to this, and she's not a victim. Nothing further.
Okay, Ms. Gant?
Your Honor, if I just may ask for clarification, I have two charges, willful obstruction and possession of a pistol. I did not hear a breakdown for the bond recommendation.
I apologize. It was actually 20,000 surety, and that is 20,000 on the firearm under 18, and then for obstruction it would be 1,000 surety, so 21 total.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Tremaine Swift is 17 years old. He is born and raised in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I did have the occasion to speak with his mother. She informed me that he is very helpful to her around the house. He helps with his sister who is 15. He also helps with housework. He's respectful. He's obedient, and she states that his father is really trying to help him to figure out what he wants to do with himself. Mr. Swift is working on his GED. He went to the 12th grade but did not complete it. He wants to be a truck driver. He is unemployed at this time. However, he is seeking employment. He applied for a job at Lids, but he has not heard back. Mr. Swift has never been arrested. Of course, Your Honor, he is presumed innocent. He has no prior convictions. I am asking that, given his history, I would ask the court for a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he's ineligible, then I would ask for a more reasonable bond, no more than $1,250, and that would be $1,000 for the possession of the pistol and $250 for the willful obstruction. We're unopposed to the conditions for stay away and a curfew. And again, we would ask, Your Honor, that you consider our bond recommendations. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Sari, at what time did this allegedly happen?
1 second, Your Honor, I pulled the warrant.
Okay, if you'll do that, and if his mother, I am going to allow her to speak if in courtroom 2.
I spoke with her, Your Honor. She doesn't want to speak. She is just more so here for support.
Well, if I'm going, okay, go ahead, Ms. Sari.
Yes, Judge. This I have for the warrant. It was taken out at 9 p.m. So on or before 9 p.m.
Yes, Judge Morrow, she does, she would like to speak.
Okay, thank you. Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. Can you state your full name for me?
My name is Katani Swift.
Ms. Swift, and Tremaine is your son?
Yes, he is.
Does he live with you?
Yes, he do.
And where would that be?
At 500 Avon Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30315.
Spell the, it's Avon?
Amal, A-M-A-L.
And it's my understanding that Tremaine's not in school at the present time. Is that right? He's getting his GED?
Yes.
How often does he go someplace specific to get that GED?
He's going to at Promise.
Say it again for him.
At Promise. He was going to a GED program at Promise and over there at DeKalb.
And how often does he go there for to receive his GED?
Probably like twice a week.
Does he have a job?
No, he's actively and currently looking for one.
Okay. And what would you like to tell me? What would you like to tell the court?
I just wanted to say that, you know, if given a chance, we just want to make, make sure that he's, not in this predicament or situation again. So.
Is this the first time he's been in trouble?
Yes.
Anything else you want to tell the court?
No, sir.
All right. I'm gonna have you, Ms. Swift, be responsible for Tremaine. I am going to give him a signature bond. It's gonna be a $5,000 signature bond for the possession, a $1,000 signature bond for the obstruction. It's gonna be a total of a $6,000 signature bond. It's gonna go through pretrial. It's gonna be per the judge going through pretrial. So he's gonna be monitored at the same time that you are monitoring him. He's gonna have a curfew. His curfew is gonna be, he's gotta be in by 7 p.m. in the evening, and he cannot leave until 6 a.m. in the morning. So if he does not abide by the curfew, then he's going to be in violation of this bond order. He's only 17 years old, so that shouldn't be a problem. If he does get a job, I'll be happy to modify this if he works a little bit later than 7 o'clock. But until he finds a job and he's working, then he's to be in by 7 and he cannot leave until 6. He is to continue to get his GED. He is to go there at least 2 times a week to work on receiving his GED. He's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. He should have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons anyway, given his age. And he's not to go back to 300 Peachtree Street. Ms. Sari, was he with someone when he was arrested?
Yes, Your Honor. I do not have that defendant's name. I only have his warrant.
Okay, somebody else was arrested at the same time?
I believe so, but I only have the warrant for this defendant.
Okay, so Ms. Swift, you're gonna have to sign for him to get out. I'm gonna waive the utility bill in this matter, so pretrial can get me a waiver of the utility bill. Any questions for me, Ms. Swift?
No, sir.
Okay, if he's in violation of this bond whatsoever, he's gonna be right back where he is, and the next time it won't be a signature bond. You understand me, Tremaine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, good luck to you both.
And Your Honor, respectfully, I just want to place on the record the state's objection to a signature bond in this case. Even though it's his first arrest, he's starting out on the wrong foot. Nothing further.
Well, I'm agreeing with you that he should not be on this foot. No one wants to see their child sitting in jail. You know, Tremaine, you have your mother there speaking for you. That should be the last thing that you would want. To be sitting where you are in the situation that you're in at this point in time. I don't expect this to happen again. I'm going to allow your mother to monitor you along with pretrial in this matter, but you must know that if you're in violation of this bond whatsoever, then you'll be sitting right back where you are and you're not going to get out the next time. You understand me?
I understand, Judge.
All right, good luck to you, Tremaine.
Judge, can the
Yes.
mother spell her first name? The pretrial is asking for the mother to spell her first name.
Okay, can you spell your first name, ma'am?
Yes, sir. It's spelled C-A-T-T-A-N-I.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, who do we have next?
Position 3, Cameron. You have it in the second one.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Francois, can we go to position 2?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Judge, position 2 is next.
Okay, this is Mr. Bradbury.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bradbury. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
What is this court? What's the current case? What's the current status of this case?
Mr. Bradbury, you have been charged in case 23 CR 000028A with battery with an offense date of January 2nd, 2023. So that's what you're here for today. This is
I don't believe in none of that. I don't know what I'm in. I'm locked up for someone I don't believe in that, Judge. Y'all gonna have to do this we're gonna do this in open court because this some BS y'all holding me up in here for some.
Okay. Who's representing Mr. Bradbury?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McLeod. Let's see. Over his objection, I'm going to proceed with this bond hearing. Is there a history?
Yes, Judge. He has a total of 18 cycles. He currently has an open case out of Fulton County. That open case is for false imprisonment, 2 counts of robbery, battery, and abuse, neglect, or exploitation of a disabled or elderly person. Case number 22 CP 212296. He has a conviction for aggravated assault in 2021, criminal trespass conviction in 2019, theft by shoplifting conviction in 2018, 3 disorderly conduct convictions in 2017, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce conviction in 2017, and 1 FTA in 2018. And he is also a multi-state offender. He has 1 arrest out of Mississippi and 1 arrest out of Tennessee, and nothing further.
Okay, Ms. Sari.
Yes, Your Honor. As you've heard from pretrial, the defendant is being held on another violent offense for false imprisonment and elderly abuse. While he was in custody yesterday at the jail, he punched the victim, whose name is Randolph White. He punched him in the face, and it caused swelling and bruising to the left side of his face. Just to give the incident location, it is 901 Rice Street in Atlanta. Of course, he does present a risk of reoffending. He's a violent offender and a danger to our community due to his history. Our recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with the victim, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 32 years old. He tells me that the incident did not happen at all. He has no recollection of it. He tells me that he's currently studying. He tells me that he's currently working as a CNA, and he's also working on his degree. He tells me that he's originally from the state of Mississippi, Your Honor, but has been living here in Georgia for some time. He wants to be able to get out of jail so he can continue his studies to work on his degree. As I said, he denies that this incident even happened. Your Honor, I believe he's being held on something else. I'm not sure. I was unable to find out what exactly he was being held for in jail because he was unable to tell me what it is that he is being held on, Your Honor. I believe that my client could use some social worker services, Your Honor, and I would ask the court to get him some help because I do believe that he does need some help in that department because there were some, I think he has some issues certainly with his memory. There are a lot of things he could not remember, including the name of his mother.
So I'll start him out with a social worker visit, Ms. McLeod. When we see Ms. Bridgewater, when is that SAP reset date?
The 17th of January.
Okay, so January 17th, I'll see him at the state all-purpose calendar. I would like the social worker to have visited him by that time to make a recommendation as to whether he needs something more than just simply a social worker visit. I am going to take the state's recommendation at this point in time, a $5,000 good bond, no further violent contact with Mr. White, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. McLeod, you'll be representing him, I take it, at that SAP calendar. And
yes, Your Honor.
If additional services are needed or recommended by you, I'll take it up at that time, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. McLeod. Good luck to you, Mr. Bradbury. I'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Your Honor, my business before the court is concluded. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon, Ms. McLeod.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Cameron.
This is go ahead, Mr. Cameron.
Yes, position 3. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Cameron. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
You got to keep your mask up for me, Cameron.
Can you hear me, Mr. Cameron? Okay, and it's okay that we're doing this by video, okay? Yes? Is that
Cameron,
a
you have to talk to the judge.
Okay, Mr. Cameron, I'll take it that you don't object since you're not saying anything to me. You've been charged in case 23 CR 000030B with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
Yes.
I'm showing 43 cycles, 40 out of Georgia, 3 out of Ohio. It appears to be on probation out of Fulton County for possession of cocaine to distribute, possession of a Schedule 1 and 2 controlled substance with intent to distribute, sale of marijuana, unlawful to come inside guidelines to deliver inmate a controlled substance. Case number 15 SC 138948. The disposition was in 2017, 10 years probation. He has a 2014 conviction for possession of controlled substance out of Ohio, a 2010 willful obstruction conviction out of Georgia, 2011 willful obstruction conviction, 2005 possession of cocaine conviction and disorderly conduct, 2004 2 counts of aggravated assault and possession of a firearm by convicted felon, 2002 sale of marijuana, 2002 possession of marijuana less than an ounce, FTA 2013, another FTA 2013, another FTA 2010, FTA from 2009, and a probation violation from 2011, and nothing further.
Okay, Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place at a BP gas station located at 221 Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta. The defendant had been issued a criminal trespass warning and would not leave when instructed to. He continued to stay on this property and harassed patrons. We've heard that history from pretrial. He does present a risk of reoffending. He has 40 cycles here in Georgia alone. The state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond, a stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Demetrius Cameron is 41 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He does have a sister here. However, I was unable to reach her to assist with clarify whether or not she is a resource for bond. He does not have any other contacts, Your Honor. Mr. Cameron completed 10th grade. He is disabled. He strongly denies the allegations. He's presumed innocent. I'm requesting a signature bond on Mr. Cameron's behalf, and we are unopposed to any stay away conditions, Your Honor. Thank you.
It's going to be $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the BP gas station on Cleveland Avenue. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I want a social worker to also see him, Ms. Gant, so that I can we can assess where he is. And if you're able to get in touch with someone regarding him, I just don't want to put him back out on the street without having someone to assist him, as it appears to me that he needs that. So I'll reconsider this bond at the SAP calendar if he does not get out, if we can get a social worker to visit him, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Cameron.
All right, you're done. Position 5, Mr. Dries, he has a private attorney.
Okay.
Courtney Brubaker on behalf of Zach Dries.
Good afternoon, Ms. Brubaker. I hope you're well.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. The state is requesting a breakout for this position. MH concerns.
Okay. Let's see. Ms. Sari, Ms. Ekpo, Ms. Brubaker, myself, and Ms. Bridgewater. Anyone else need to be in that breakout room?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Okay, if you can put us.
Okay, Judge.
Could someone put me in the breakout room? I don't think I got an invitation. Thank you.
Me too, please. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Who was me too? Who responded to me too?
I think that Ms. Dries, are you the victim in this case?
Yes, I am.
No,
Thank you.
I asked that you don't go to the.
No,
the
she
breakout room.
she can't go in. Okay.
Yeah. So, but if you could put me in the break room, please.
I got you, will do.
Thank you. And Ms. Dries, we'll let you know what happens. Thank you.
Okay, Zach, we've had a conversation with your attorney and with the solicitors. I'm going to give you a signature bond. It's going to be $3,000 for the assault, family violence, and $1,000 for each of the other charges. Total of a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. You are to continue on whatever mental health treatment and counseling that you're currently receiving, and you're to continue on any medications that you're currently taking. You're to have no further violent contact with your sister, Carly, and you're to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you are out on bond. Okay? Good luck to you, sir.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, respectfully for the record, the state is going to place an objection on the record for a signature bond in the case with the facts that were presented.
Okay, we've had a discussion surrounding Mr. Dries while we were in the breakout room, and his parents were with us at that time. Mr. Dries, this offense date was October 31st of last year. Since that time, he has gotten mental health treatment. I was informed that he's been back in his home since November 8th of last year without incident. As such, I believe that the state was recommending that he get some type of mental health treatment, and it appears that he's already done that prior to today's hearing. So that's why the court is entering into a signature bond on behalf of Mr. Dry with his parents there and counsel. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Dries. Anything further, Ms. Brubaker?
No, Your Honor, nothing further. May I be excused?
Yes, you all have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Yes, the same.
I'm gonna have to sit in a second. Judge, you said 5,000 SOB through the jail, correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's $3,000 for the assault and $1,000 for each of the other charges.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
6, Mr. Mackey.
Good afternoon, Mr. Intermacki. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 23 CR 000032A with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history? Ms. Roberts?
I'm showing 5 cycles. He currently has an open case for battery, family violence, 21 CR 002936A. He has a 2007 aggravated assault and aggravated battery conviction and a 2011 theft by receiving stolen property conviction, and nothing further.
Okay. Ms. Salette?
Yes, Your Honor. On January 2nd, 2023, on yesterday, officers were dispatched to 125 Brooks Bridge Court in Johns Creek. Upon arrival, they did make contact with the defendant at the front door of the home. Officers did determine that the defendant damaged the victim's cell phone by placing it into the wave. That victim's name is Danijo, Danijo, Rintamaki, Rintamaki. And I do believe that they are married. We are concerned about his violent criminal conviction from 2007, that aggravated assault, aggravated battery. We also have concerns about his open case in state court. That's case number 21 CR 002936A for simple battery, family violence against the same victim. He is out on a $2,500 surety bond on that case, and was ordered to have no contact with the same victim in this case by Judge Williams. Clearly, he has not followed that order, and he does have a history of violence and has now committed a new offense against the same victim. The state's recommendation at this time is going to be $1,000 cash bond, no contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a 1-day anger awareness. Nothing further from the state at this time.
Mr. Kelbach, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. When the pretrial was giving the criminal the open cases, I think they may have said it was battery, family violence was open, but my understanding from looking at Odyssey is that it's the open case is a simple battery case. Looking at that's the 21 CR case. Looking at the bond order in that case, although he was ordered not to have contact with the victim, the stay away address is a different address, is the Yateley Court address. So I believe at that time, this is my understanding, Ms. Rentamaki was not living at the Brooks Bridge Court address. And since that time, my understanding is she didn't have anywhere else to go and has been staying there, although, and I will say, I have spoken to her. She has told me that they are able to live in that same house and not have contact with each other. She would like for him to be released because he has the custody. They have 2 young daughters together. He has custody of those daughters. And if he is not home to care for them, then she can't go to work to raise money so that she can afford to move out. The house is owned by his parents, and the parents, Mr. Rentamaki, the ex-wife, and the children live there. The allegation is, I believe, that he put her cell phone in a microwave, that the value of the cell phone was approximately $400. In light of this, in light of her desire for him to be released so that he can watch the children, and her statement to me that she would like for him to be released so that he can watch the children, the value of the cell phone, I would ask for a $1,000 good bond so that he can return home to care for the children. I would, regarding the 2007, I believe, conviction, the aggravated assault conviction, that is remote in time. I believe he was 17 or 18 years old at the time of that incident. And this is a long time since then.
So I'm more concerned about their arrangement. They seem to keep getting into it over something or other. So you're telling me that he lives at the Brooks Bridge Court address.
Yes.
But that's his parents' address?
That's his parents' address. And
okay, and he has custody.
At some point, the ex-wife, the alleged victim in this case, moved in there because she did not have anywhere else to go. That is my understanding. And she has been trying to raise money so that she can move somewhere else. And they've been living there, but having as little contact, very little contact. And she believes, what she told me was that she believes they can live there and not have contact with each other. And yes, Your Honor, he has custody of the 2 children.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Well, I understand, Ms. Salette. Give me just a second. Okay. He's going to have to find someplace else to go, or she's going to have to find someplace else to go. That's just the bottom line. It'd be different if this were the first offense, or he's already been ordered that he can't have any contact with her. So I don't see how you can live in a household and not have any contact with the other person. So, and given that he's the one that has the kids and it's his parents' home, I would think that she would want to find someplace else to live. But regardless, he can have no further contact whatsoever and should not have been having any contact with with his ex-wife in that regard. So I am going to grant you a $1,000 good bond, Mr. Kelbaugh, but it's going to be no further contact. And however they work out their living arrangements, he already has the other bond that's in order, no further contact. But he's to have no contact with her whatsoever. He can't even, Mr. Rentamaki, you can't even speak to her. You can't have any contact with her whatsoever. I understand you have the kids, but you can have no contact with her whatsoever. And that was already ordered by the previous judge in the case. Also, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. If you do have contact, if she wants to see your children that you have together, you're going to have to go through a third party. I guess that'll be your parents or whomever, but you yourself can have no contact with her. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are we clear, Mr. Calbar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So I don't want to restrict him from the Brooksbridge court address, which is where his kids live, where he lives, where his parents live. But he's going to have to figure out how he's not going to have any contact with her. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, sir. I'm sorry. Ms. Let, I interrupted you. Did you have something else that you wanted to say? Ms. Let, did you hear me?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. No, nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. All right. Good luck to you, sir. Who do we have next? And you have anything further, Mr. Calba?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. Have a good afternoon.
Take care, Your Honor.
We have number 4, Ms. Collins.
All right. Good afternoon, Ms. Collins. I'm Judge Eric. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Collins, you've been charged in case 23 CR 000036D with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and battery. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
She has one prior arrest out of the cab from 2019 for criminal damage to property. There's no disposition listed in there.
Okay, Ms. Sally?
Yes, Your Honor, that case is actually open and it's a felony. This incident that happened yesterday was at 1003 Brentwood Way in Sandy Springs. An officer was dispatched regarding a dispute call. Upon arrival, they saw the defendant who had actually changed into a different shirt, and she was walking from the scene. When she was instructed to stop, she began to run. A short foot chase ensued, and the defendant was captured, and she was placed in handcuffs. And when they spoke with the victim, whose name is Lillian, that's Lillian, last name Talley, Talley, she stated that she and the defendant had been arguing all day. And during this last argument, the defendant got upset about the victim being on the phone, and she got in her face, to which the victim moved her back, and then the defendant punched the victim multiple times, causing swelling to her lip. We would argue that there has not been sufficient cooling off time, and that the defendant does present a risk of reoffending due to that open felony. The state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond. That's $3,000 on the battery and $1,000 on the obstruction. No contact with the victim, a stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Do you know who Ms. Talley is to Ms. Collins?
That I am not sure of, Your Honor. Our office did reach out, but we did not get a response from the victim.
And do you know what the Brentwood Way address is or whose it is?
I have that based on the warrant as the victim's address.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Pasha Collins is 25 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area her entire life. She does have other family members here. Ms. Collins earned a GED and she is currently unemployed. She states that she obtained employment at the United States Postal Service, but she is now on unpaid leave. Therefore, she's not receiving any income at this time. She strongly denies the allegations, Your Honor. She states that, in fact, the complaining witness, Ms. Talley, her former fiance, actually attacked her, and that she was more so defending herself and was trying to leave the residence. She does not have any convictions, Your Honor. The 2019 matter, we believe it's remote, and there is no evidence that this is the same the same complaining witness. We are requesting a signature bond on Ms. Collins' behalf. My client does not want to have any contact, therefore we are unopposed to the no contact and stay away provisions. However, we would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that Ms. Collins may retrieve belongings. And finally, Your Honor, if you determine that Ms. Collins isn't entitled to a signature bond, then I would ask for a reasonable bond, no more than $1,250, $1,000 for the simple battery family violence, and $250 for the willful obstruction, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so for the obstruction, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. For the battery, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, making for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Lillian Talley. Stay away from the Brentwood Way address. Ms. Collins can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Collins.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Position what, Everett?
Good afternoon, Mr. Everett. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. Mr. Everett, you've been charged in case 23 CR 000031A with cruelty to animals. Is there a history, Ms. Roberts?
I saw 4 cycles with no convictions, felony or misdemeanor was listed.
Ms. Salette?
Yes, Your Honor. On January 2nd, 2023, officers responded to 1950 Rock Mill Road, which is an extended stay, in response to a cruelty to animal call. Upon arrival, Officer Garcia could hear yelling and the sound of a dog squealing in pain from the hallway of the hotel. Officer Garcia approached the room and could hear the dog continue squealing and being thrown against the wall. The defendant was approached about the and stated that he was giving the dog a bath. When asked why the dog was squealing, the defendant stated that the dog wasn't listening, and so he popped her. Officers observed the dog to have a swollen left eye with blood vessels popped out and a cut on the top of the dog's head. A canine officer responded to the scene and examined the dog as well for his injuries and concluded that the dog had sustained injuries from the defendant. The defendant was arrested on the scene and the dog was taken to a local animal shelter. The veterinarian medical observation found that the dog did have trauma to the scalp and chemosis in the left eye, which is caused by blunt force trauma to the eye. Although the defendant does lack any violent history, the state will argue that the nature of these charges, him assaulting a helpless animal, animals can't call 911, so who knows if he's done this in the past or not. The state would be recommending a $5,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no pets or animals or dogs while out on bond. Nothing further from the state at this time.
Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Quentin Everett is 46 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area since July of 2021. He is originally from Columbus, Georgia, Your Honor. He does have a significant other here. He has 2 adult children, ages 26 and 24 in Columbus, Georgia, along with 3 grandkids. He states that he is working and that he sends money to his children to help care for his grandchildren. Mr. Everett graduated from high school. He is currently employed at Buffalo Wild Wings. He is the head cook there. He has been there for about 2 months. He also states that he works at Dave & Buster's. Your Honor, he denies the allegations. Mr. Everett informed me that he is in fact hearing impaired and that he has an additional animal that is a service animal. He states that he does have a badge and a certificate. So we are asking, Your Honor, for a signature bond, being that Mr. Averett does not have any prior convictions, certainly no problems with animals. We are asking that we are unopposed to the no pets, but would ask that he be allowed to have the service animal that he has documentation for, Your Honor. Thank you.
Have you seen the documentation, Ms. Gant?
I have not, Your Honor. Just
Okay.
given the nature of the bond hearing, my
I
focus
under-
on everything was this morning.
Okay, I understand. It's gonna be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, no animals or pets of whatever kind, service or not service. If he presents some type of documentation that he needs a service animal or has a service animal, then I certainly will consider modification of the bond at a later time. Good luck to you, Mr. Averett.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, I have a quick announcement for position 7. Have a seat for me.
Okay.
They made their appearance. And that's
Okay.
it. We're completed here in courtroom 2.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You do the same.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, Your Honor, I missed that. What did they say about position number 7?
It's a waiver.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and this is your case, Ms. Gant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see, Ms. Salette, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. On December 10th, 2022, at approximately 6:54 p.m., Officer Sewell with the College Park Police Department was patrolling the Valero gas station at 5022 Old National Highway when he observed a black 2013 Dodge Charger pull into the gas station with no headlights on while it was dark outside. The officer did run that vehicle's tag and it came back registered to the owner of Aaron Sparrow. The officer then ran his GCIC and noted that the defendant did have a probation violation warrant out of Troutland County for the traffic offense of fleeing. He also saw a Gwinnett County warrant for robbery, trespass, and battery. Officer Sewell also was able to locate a photo of the defendant or Mr. Sparrow on the GCIC as well. And that photo did match the appearance of the driver of that Dodge Charger vehicle. At that time, when Officer Sewell noticed the defendant leaving or exiting the Valero gas station, he did attempt to pull the defendant over by initiating his emergency lights to stop the vehicle. The defendant at first was driving regular speed or acting as if he was going to slow down, but he immediately put his foot on the gas, went around another vehicle and took off at a high rate of speed. Officer Sewell then turned his lights off and stopped following the vehicle, but kept an eye on the vehicle from a distance. The defendant then slowed down because he thought the officer wasn't following him anymore. The officer tried to initiate the stop once again. And at that time, the defendant did run through a red traffic light and swerved around other vehicles and took off at a high rate of speed. Because the officer did have the defendant's name and information, he did take out warrants for the defendant at that time. This defendant was arrested on November 30th of 2022. And this would be his first appearance, which is outside of the 72 hours. So the state is recommending at this time a $12,000 signature bond for $5,000 on the fleeing, $5,000 on the reckless driving, and $1,000 for each additional charge after that, for a total of $12,000 signature bond. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving. The defendant does have a 2018 fleeing and attempting to elude arrest where he was granted first offender. He also has a pending burglary robbery case, endangering a child by DUI, and a DUI from 2019, August 2022 FTA. And he was also arrested and had felony first appearance on, I believe it was 2 separate felony cases as well that both occurred in the month of December. So he pretty much went on a crime spree in December, but we are a signature bond today of that $12,000 because there are some Riverside issues with this case, Your Honor. Nothing further from the state at this time.
Ms. Gann?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Aaron Sparrow is 24 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He states that he has 7 children, ages 12, 10, 8, 6, 3, 1, and 6 months. He states that all of the children live with him. He completed 12th grade. He is disabled and has been so for 6 years. We are unopposed to the signature bond. However, we would ask that Mr. Sparrow be allowed to drive if he is validly licensed, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, so it's going to be the $12,000 signature bond with the breakdown as articulated by Ms. Salette. Do you need that again, Ms. Bridgewater?
Yes, I do.
Okay, 5,000 for the fleeing, 5,000 for the reckless, 1,000 for the traffic light, and 1,000 for the operating without lights. Makes a total of 12,000, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Now, was that a good bond or was that,
That's a signature bond through the jail.
gotcha, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. And I think that completes the 2 o'clock calendar. So when Ms. Bridgewater is ready. Oh, Officer Milton, do you have something?
No, just saying good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Glad to have you.
All right, have a good evening, everybody.
Do the
You
same.
too.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, if everyone is ready, I'm ready to go over the calendar. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is January the 17th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 2 is going to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. Position 3 is going to the SAP calendar with the $1,000 good bond. Position 4, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through the jail. Position 5 is reset further notice with a $5,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 6 is going to the SAP calendar with the $1,000 good bond. Position 7 is reset further notice with a total $12,000 SOB through the jail. Position 8 is going to be reset further notice with a $6,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. And position 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,500 total good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Ms.
Judge
Roberts?
Morrow?
Yes, go ahead.
I was just letting you know, I emailed you the co-signer waiver form and PDF form.
Okay, would you mind emailing that to Ms. Bridgewater so that she can get that to me, please? You
Yeah.
probably mailed that to my Fulton County address, and I don't have that up right now. So if you wouldn't mind getting it to Ms. Bridgewater for me, thank you. Okay.
I think
All
that's
right.
it.
All right. You all have a good afternoon. Y'all be safe. It's raining out there, I think.
Take care, everyone.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.